Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Eldridge, and this is Mild Examinations. Today's episode, it's going to be a long one. It's important to me. There's been a recent and very weird split in more current times that trying to poison the descriptor of a gamer, something that should be used as just the smallest way to describe someone that plays video games on a regular basis, has become tarnished by plenty of people. Some are idiots trying to gatekeep something that should be open to anyone who does play games. Other ones are trying to say that all gamers are just a bunch of neckbeards that have no other useful skills trying to keep everyone out of gaming. Which, fair enough, the second part, because there are those types of people. However, you should not judge people all on the most vocal of your minority. And in the end, I'm annoyed with both sides trying to ruin my time playing video games. No, I don't care that Mortal Kombat 11 has a Jax ending that erases the slave trade from the timeline. Good for Jax. And at the same time, hating the limitations of the Resident Evil engine so you can't pick up every item like goddamn Life is Strange is also not fucking valid criticism. Fucking Life is Strange spoiled those goddamn idiots. But back to the topic on hand. Gamer. This movie tries to paint gamers in a very negative light, while doing the very thing it is trying to shame gamers with that most gamers do not do. This hour-and-a-half long eyesore is about as inaccurate to gaming as goddamn Ready Player One. The people behind this film are Brian Taylor and Mark Neveldine. As far as I can tell, Brian has toned it down in recent years, as he has made Happy, a really good sci-fi channel show, and Mom and Dad, a very bizarre but not too bad Nick Cage film about a family dealing with a virus or something, causing every parent to want to kill their own children in particular.
Oh, yeah! You put your right foot in, you take your right foot out, you do the hokey and you...
As for Neveldine, his solo directing credits include The Vatican Tapes, which has under 20% in Rotten Tomatoes. Admittedly, I don't usually use Rotten Tomatoes for all criticisms, but it's a good way to generally see how the public sees their films. But enough about future episodes, possibly. Let's get to Gamer. Let's also get another thing straight. Hollywood does not understand gaming. At all. This most recent week of them having to redesign the hedgehog that people recognize as iconic makes me think that they will continue to refuse to understand why we like video games, why we play these games. There are outsiders trying to get some of the money from the recognizable IP, then going, time to redesign this recognizable IP. So it's looking like our stuff, even though it does not need to look like our stuff in order for it to sell. Dear God. Alright. Sorry for that addendum. Back to the review. Gamer starts with the typical logos, Lionsgate, shit, and Lake House, and rendition of Sweet Dreams. Copyright gods, don't fuck me this time. In the near future, a game called Slayers becomes so popular that it gets Times Square advertising on multiple billboards, as well as many places alongside another game called Society. And Slayers is plastered everywhere, so much that the game's advertising budget has to be in excess of the GDP of most countries. Not to mention that the places they're being advertised are wasteful. Like, who puts it on the side of the fucking pyramids where no one is? Like, that fucking pile of desert that's in front, that's most of that place. On that side of the pyramid, at least. If you're gonna do advertising, do it on the other side of the fucking pyramid. And then we get to the worst part of this movie, the game. This game is epileptic inducing nonsense. It glitches at seemingly random times. The objective marker is obnoxious instead of actually helpful. The lag makes me worried that my video player is busted. The objective makes me think the people that made this don't play games, or at least don't know how to translate this concept into the world they have made. And the way they filmed it hurts my head. Thankfully, they keep it short, as then we move on, as they finish the objective, and we get some standard fodder for dialogue. We cut to a newsroom where we get a little bit more about the world itself. And after saying no one cares about war going on in Asia, because of an interview with Ken Castle, a Kayaba Akihiko type of eclectic. The interviewer and Ken Castle talk about the two games Ken Castle has made. Society, a Second Life style game where you control actual people. But it's time to reveal this makes less sense than Slayers, a shooter game that uses death row inmates to simulate an arena. Of course, this one works at least better as an esports of sorts, which wasn't really a topic at the time, but, is now in the actual discourse. However, the way they film this game and the way that people act, they're trying to make it seem more like a regular session of Call of Duty or any deathmatch round, than the very close to esports version of Rainbow Six. What this game would resemble with no respawn capabilities, time to kill being much higher, and perks, which will be shown later, being a major feature instead of like the kill streak system in Call of Duty or anything like that. As the interview continues on, they go over a few other things in the interview, the science behind it, the set rules, as well as our overall villain's master plans, mind control. As they finish the interview, they all of a sudden get hacked by humans with a Z, you see. An insurgent group against Ken Castle's games, as they both require people to sacrifice freedoms to be a part of them. In the local Infinity War play place, Cable, also known as Tillman, which I will be calling him by both just because he didn't need to be called Cable or Tillman, is doing his best Shawshank impression. Tillman's wife is revealed to be working in society, being controlled by the most stereotypical version of a gamer possible. But instead of dozens of pizza boxes like I have in my room, he has fresh waffles he dunks into a big bowl of syrup. Overdoing it a little bit, Mark and Brian? The most bizarre psych reference happens as we have exposition on humans occurs as they took down connection servers for society temporarily. Battle 28 of 30. Oh, you didn't know it was Battle 28? Okay, something I'll have to bring up now. If a Slayer survives 30 battles, then they get to go free. No one's ever done it before, yada 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 yada. For some reason, the last battle was Battle 27, this is Battle 28. Okay, move on. This battle starts as one characterizes themselves just enough to be killed, and somehow the game is worse than before. Who wouldn't want to play on this server this bad with this fucking bad lag? And they don't show how they can identify teammates either. As unlike most other games, you can at least tell from the difference of standard clothing, or being able to not shoot them. Post-battle, we meet the person controlling Cable. Well, controlling is a little bit inaccurate, because as I'll have to explain later, because for some reason that's a fucking thing, Simon. As he does the things on par with a child on Xbox Live, Human sends him an executable on his holographic screen computer, because of course. The executive was actually letting him talk to Cable, while showing him clearly the most accurate reason why not to. Yeah, they actually show the clip of what got Cable put in prison. It's like, oh yeah, you should talk to Cable because he shot this guy with a gun. I don't know. It's weird. Meanwhile, in Villain HQ, Ken has a new Cable stopper, Terry Crews in his stand, Power. Sorry, I've been watching JoJo a lot. You know what? I'm not sorry. JoJo's a good show. I haven't seen season 5. I've heard up to season 4 is good. Season 5's okay. Season 6 is supposed to be good, but that's been written yet. I mean, that's been adapted yet, so I don't know. But anyway, away from JoJo. While testing an upgrade Simon gets for Cable, someone brings up an issue that should not be a question if at all, if this question even is supposed to be valid. When then this game would be played by the most select few. Who aims the gun? Now, this should not be a question, as if you're playing a first-person shooter, you aim. If this game is more like a real-time strategy game, then the attitude and the designs of the world would be dramatically fucking different. Now, I'm actually going to use a game that not many people have played, Dragon Commander. It was a very interesting game. And you're able to summon units, all this stuff, but you're also able to take control of a dragon and use it to basically boost your ability of attack force. But you had to be careful with it, otherwise it would die, and it basically put you on a disadvantage for the rest of the round. But my point is, you could control it, or you could let it do its own thing, in which case, sometimes it would do it better than you, sometimes it would do it worse, depending on how well you're able to play the game yourself. But if that is the case in this place, a lot of these people would not be acting like it was a first-person shooter. It's just like, I don't know why they were thinking it should be like COD if they're gonna make the people act like it. I mean, if they're gonna make it act like COD, but the gameplay clearly closer to something like StarCraft or something, which isn't bad. But this would be a different set of gamers in the first place than the ones that are actually shown in this. Because yes, Call of Duty people the gamers in this one act like it's fucking Call of Duty, but it's definitely looking like it plays like StarCraft, which means only StarCraft players would play this, who are definitely not as this level of toxic. And even though they can control the Slayers, the ping is apparently so bad that it is better to just let it be in the real-time strategy mode of it, which makes no fucking sense. Like, if the ping is so fucking bad that you're unable to react to it, I mean, anything properly, then it is not fucking good, especially as a first-person shooter. The only way people would be playing this is if they, like, bet actual money, which will only happen if this game got big enough, and this game would not get big enough in the first place, even on the ridiculously advertising budget, because of its fucking high skill, I mean, this high bullshit, fucking all these issues that would come up with the game before you even start playing it. God, this is worse than fucking SAO. I mean, a lot of things are worse than SAO, but like, the game is worse than the game version of SAO. Terry Crews decides to threaten Cable about going back to his home and wife and kid and killing them or something. Then we get to match 29. As Simon starts to talk to Cable, John Leguizamo dies, and we get a close call with Cable almost dying, but the match ending in the nick of time, leading to the gun not being able to fire. Okay, so the reason why... Okay, that actually pisses me off a lot more. So why wouldn't he just not get a gun that stops firing once the round is over? This, why would Terry Crews be not attached to strings, no one's controlling him, but still be given a gun that stops shooting the second the round ends? Yes, he wasn't expecting it, but just in case, why didn't fucking Ken Castle give him a proper gun? I guess it's for more story, but that's really stupid. Realizing how close to death he was in that moment, Cable, along with the humans' Cell, realizes he needs to be freed from the mind control, which Simon claims that would be cheating. How much cheating is it if you don't even fire the fucking gun? Like, if you don't directly fire the gun and you don't fucking directly pull the trigger, then it's not really mind control, it's just mind suggestion of where they should go that they're required to follow. It's you move, I move you, you shoot, which is like even on-rail shooters know how to do that right. Whatever. But anyway, since Simon calls it cheating, but Ludacris replies,
That would be cheating. A mod. That's all it would be.
no, that's cheating. Mods are cheating in an online game. Because aimbotting is technically modding. Aimbotting is cheating. So for next match, 30th, Cable is given a bottle of whatever alcohol, which he proceeds to drink. I'm too busy playing 2 games, Edge of Eternity and Sekiro, to follow suit, so no, I'm not going to drink this time. Cable sums around the battlefield very drunkenly until finding an ethanol car, which he proceeds to remove the booze from his system into. In the bad movie beatdown of this by Film Brain, he has a very good tangent on the level of Because movie in this scene. Just go watch it, and yes, there are some movies that I will talk about that are from his show, but because it's my show, I have a different point of view, by a tiny amount, admittedly. But it's not like I'm supported on Patreon yet. So if you want to make me talk about other movies, you have to pay me to do it. Cable escapes successfully, with the world thinking he was killed in that last battle. He's then picked up by Wildstyle's younger sister, who does the stupidest thing by far. So she knows Cable is being tracked and says to come with her on her motorcycle, and then proceeds to drive said motorcycle inside of buildings, drawing more attention to her. Like, that's really fucking it. Like, you're gonna draw the news, the police, standard onlookers. I don't know what you're fucking doing. Okay, just let's move on, please. They arrive at an arcade where the humans, I guess, live. They're not very well explained. I mean, hell, I'm calling Ludacris because he has no actual name. He is called the human's brother. Like, what the fuck? But what is very well explained is that Castle wants to rule the world because of course he fucking does. Tillman, accurately not giving a fuck about them, is about to leave when Ludacris gives the location of Tillman's wife, who is currently in society, which unfortunately we have to go back into, with Angie now going into a club with a bug theme. Alright. And we come across this character, Rick. I'm not saying his full username because it's so fucking infuriating that this is what they're trying to call gamers. Yes, there are perverts, racists, sexual predators, and many more in playing games, fucking in the industry, and plenty of other fucking things. And they should all be ashamed of what they're doing. But you know what else? They're in every other fucking industry except for like the ones that are about proper social justice. So calling us out for, especially gaming in particular, for any of this shit is inaccurate. A gamer is just someone that plays games for a chunk of time out of the week. Any other fucking descriptors don't tie to video games or gamers in general. And the scene devolves further and keeps pissing me off as the gamer that's in the thing that controls Angie gets off on people being murdered in front of him. Ugh. Terry Crews and Cable have a quick altercation before going to a rave, which I won't show much of as the nudity and epilepsy abound in this scene. Gina, the interviewer from earlier, saves Tillman and Angie from, I presume, society security, as Simon gets questioned by Keith David, whose voice work has been in a number of games of the industry since the original Fallout. Very interesting choice of casting directors say, had you played any of the games of his talent work, you know, Halo 2, 3, Mass Effect, or either of the Saints Row games that were out at the time of making this? Did you play any of these games? Do you play games? Or do you just watch Jack Thompson videos and prep for this movie? Ludacris reads Cable's mind as we get shown what Castle is wanted for him dead over. That Cable got put in jail for via a test of Castle's networking tech.
I can't stop.
Stop what? What did they do to you, man? John, stop it. You're scaring me now. Stop.
Sorry.
After a second of setting up stakes, Cable is at Castle's house. And by far, the most interesting thing in the movie happens, so I'll let it play for the most part, but keep it.
I've got you under my skin. I've got you deep in the heart of me, so deep in my heart.
Post an underlit, but alright fight scene, the villain starts to monologue about world dominations.
Transmit, whereas every other nanocell that I put out there, including the ones in your head, Cable, designed to receive. I think it, and you do it.
Typical. But clever that he uses it to distract Cable long enough to stall him for a few seconds by throwing Terry Crews at him, but also reactivating the nanics in Cable's brain, which ultimately backfires as Cable transmits Castle speech to the world. And even that's technically pointless, as Cable just stabs him and Castle dies, roll credits. This movie is a slander film against gamers. I'm not saying we live in a society. This is an outlier of our society, of regular society, judging me for my fucking hobby, while I walk past, point its flaws out, and move on. In the end, it does not understand why I play video games, or even why COD players play first-person shooters. Now, if you do not play video games, or at least have a rudimentary understanding why many do, get the fuck back in your car and do some fucking research, motherfuckers. Thanks again to Xavier Pulley for the bass music, and that one nerd Noel on YouTube for the opening graphic. He's my bass artist, so I wanted to show some of this shit since he gave me such a good fucking thing instead of the fucking Microsoft Paint thing I used last time. Next episode I've already started writing. It's on Detroit Become Human, because, you know, that game's about to come out on PC, so might as well get some of that SEO juice. Take care.